Recording in progress. Welcome back to Boxing Bonanza. I'm joined by the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher. How's it going, my man?
It's good, Johnny. I hope you're well as well. Been training hard, not long to go now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. How's the training been going?
Yeah, good. We've just done another pad session today. Got some sprints tomorrow. Monday we've got a bit more training, and then we'll start petering down a bit. But all the sparring's done, and I feel in a good place. I feel really strong and really fit.
You've had more than a few days' notice for this fight, so you should be feeling on top.
Definitely, I feel good. It's been a long time coming. We've had a good training camp, and I'm ready to fight.
So your fight is the 7th of August against Josh Sandland. I think he's 5-3, maybe one draw. What things have you been working on in this camp?
It hasn't been changed yet, but it's actually with Danny Whitaker. It still says on BoxRec that it's Josh Sandland, but it's been changed to Danny Whitaker.
Oh, and, right.
He's another guy with a winning record, 1-4, lost 3. He's fought for a Central Area title in his last fight. So Mark Tibbs has been giving me some stuff to work on, and we've been implementing it, and it's all got to be implemented on the night of the fight. So
it's with him having a winning record, it's a good step up again to get you through the ranks.
Definitely, yeah. On Fight Camp, there's not going to be any easy fights. We know that. Eddie Hearn's already said that, and this is a tough fight, and I've got to be ready to do what I've got to do.
Does that make him more excited?
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes you rise to the challenge a little bit more. Obviously, every fight I've had has been something to deal with. The first fight was obviously the debut, the nerves of that. The second fight was on a big card, which is Aura Parker, and now we're on Fight Camp, which is going to be a great event, and it's with a step up in opponent as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Your last fight was out against Williams. You got the stoppage again. What's the main thing that you learned, or is there anything that surprised you during the two fights?
Yeah, the first fight went really well, a round 1 knockout with a good knockdown in there. The second fight I took on about 5 or 6 days' notice, and that was a great learning fight. I got the stoppage, which I was happy with. But I've learned a lot of things from that fight, because Phil Williams, although he doesn't come to win necessarily, he comes to survive, and he's very awkward. And I learned a lot of things from that, and we can implement that in the next fight.
Yeah, Macklin on the commentary was a bit critical sometimes, which I think is not very necessary, because do you think people forget sometimes that you had limited amateur experience and you're learning on the job?
Yeah, people know that, but if I get criticism, I welcome it all, because I'm fighting on the biggest stage. It doesn't matter if I've had 100 amateur fights or 10 amateur fights. If you're fighting on the biggest stage, the biggest stage there is in UK boxing and world boxing, you've got to be ready for this criticism, and I take all of it on board. Johnny Nelson gave me some good constructive criticism as well, and I welcome it all, because I am learning and I'm taking it all on board, and it's nothing personal. They're just seeing what they see, and they're telling me what I've got to do best. So I welcome it all.
So it does fire you on a bit again. You're in the criticism, and it drives you on to learn more, is it?
Definitely. Well, a lot of people give me a lot of credit, which is brilliant. I get positive stuff a lot, but when the criticism does come, that only helps you improve. And from people like Matthew Macklin and Johnny Nelson, who've been there and done it, I couldn't ask for any better than that. So if they're giving me criticism, I'm going to take that on board.
Yeah. This fight with Sandland, what happened there? Did he pull out, or?
Yeah, Sandland had to pull out. I think he had some personal issues or something to do with something personal within his family, which is absolutely fine. Obviously, you've got to fight and be 100%, and I've got nothing but respect for Josh Sandland, and he's got to do what he's got to do. There's no problem at all. He told me relatively early on as well, so it's no problem.
Is there a fight you think could happen in the future still?
It could happen in the future. I was in my head, I thought Sandland was moving down a few weights, but if he's staying at heavyweight, that's a fight that can be made, no problem.
You know, talking about the heavyweight division, you being in camp, what kind of diet are you dealing with at heavyweight? You know, does Mark make us stick to his own kind of diet, or is it similar to the rugby?
It's different to rugby. In rugby, I remember they were telling us to drink pints of milk every day to try and put on size. Like 6 pints of milk, I think they wanted us to drink. But with boxing, it's more, especially with what we're doing, it's performance related now as well. And I think I've changed up my diet a little bit. I've been eating a lot more fish. I've been eating a lot cleaner. I've been having my bran flakes, which Mark has been telling me to eat. So I've been eating a lot, but I've just substituted a few different things in, and I can see it in my body shape as well. It's changed a bit, so it's all good. I'm learning as I go, as we say, and I'm picking things up, and that's what these fights are for. It's not just about the fight itself, but it's the preparation that you learn about, and it's about learning the best ways to deal with camp and what you should do at what time. That's a fun part of it as well, because you're learning and enjoying it at the same time.
Yeah, and you've learning at the same time to alternate your strength from rugby strength to boxing, and maybe collaborate it a bit.
Yeah, well, if anything, before I was a professional boxer, I was doing too much strength training. Now we've dialed it back. I've got really good strength and conditioner, Sonny Cannon. We're doing a lot of coordination work, a lot of agility work, and that's just as important as the base of strength. I've got my base of strength, and we do work on it. But when I do strength and conditioning a couple of times a week now, the focus is more on power production and agility work and coordination. So all the other little things that add to the recipe.
Yeah, you come straight into the pro ranks and joined teams with Mark, who's a world-renowned trainer. What's it like learning the knowledge from him?
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I couldn't ask for a better trainer. It's like we've always said to each other, it's like we've known each other for a long time, because he's from the same sort of area I'm from and where my family all come from, and we just get on really well. And I think that's really important. Not just that he's got world-class credentials, but you get on and have a good relationship with your trainer, because you spend every day together. You've got to get on, and I think that's a massive part of it. Not just his unbelievable experience himself as a pro and as a coach. It's brilliant just that we get on as well. We're gelling well.
Yeah, you have a fantastic team around you, and fantastic fans as well. I'm starting to think you're going to be the Ricky Hatton of heavyweight division with them fans. How does it feel?
Really lucky to. Yeah, I'm really lucky to have some great support, not only from where I live in Romford and Essex and around London, but I went to university and I've got some great support down there. When I boxed at university, my first fight at uni, I had about 500 people there watching me, people coming down from Essex. And it's just great. It's something that inspires you to keep going and keep pushing. When training gets hard, you think, I've got a lot of people, even walking around the street in our local area, people saying good luck. And that really does push you on and give you some sort of inspiration. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah, fantastic, man. Is you know, when he was in the amateurs, what you have 10 amateur fights, 9 knockouts? Was he filling places, filling local shows?
I didn't. I had four. I only had 4 senior fights, and 3 of them were around my knockouts. And then before that, I had 6 juniors. And I don't know someone said someone's mixed it up somewhere along the lines, but I was a London champion as a junior, so I did have a little bit of. I did box a little bit as a junior, but I had a massive break, and then I boxed 4 times in the space of about a year. And I did bring a lot to people to my university amateur fights. I had 2 there, and I had a great crowd there. Everyone came down to support from Essex and from the rugby boys at Exeter as well. And we had a good little amateur boxing club at uni as well. And it was just a good mix of people, and it was something different, because university, a lot of rugby played there, a lot of other sports. Boxing is not really big in universities at the minute. But when we went to Exeter, we had a good team of people, and we really made it big. And it was a really good time for boxing at that university.
And at 6'5" and nearly 18 stone, it's hard for them to miss you, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we'll probably find me sitting in the cafe eating too much food. That's the problem. I was a bit of a greedy boy at university as well. That's where people would spot me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I just sometimes read through your comments and stuff on social medias and stuff, and sometimes Sam Jones scares quite a lot of stick. What was Sam like to work with?
Listen, Sam does get a lot of stick, and I think it's because of his personality, the way he is. He's not afraid to get involved, and I think that's the best thing. If you're a fighter, you want a manager who's going to put himself on the line for you. And whatever you say about Sam Jones, he puts his best foot forward for his fighters all the time. He's constantly talking us up. And I couldn't ask for a better manager. He's given me opportunity after opportunity. Even going back to when we went to Las Vegas and sparred with Joe Joyce over there, it's brilliant. I couldn't ask for a better manager in Sam and Adam Morley. So whatever criticism and stick he gets, he does it all for his fighters, and that's what a manager should be like.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's a great. What's it like sparring with a juggernaut?
Yeah, it's great. When I first started sparring him a couple of years ago, I was coming in doing 2 rounds at a time, jumping out, having a rest, and now we're at a stage where we can do 6, 8 rounds, no problem. And it's really good that Joe sort of developed me, and he's brought me on, and he's part of my management team now as well. And he's a gentleman, and he's really developed me, because when I first went with him, he could have just yeah, get me in for a bit of sparring, see you later. But we just grew into a good relationship. He took me to Vegas and sparred out there, and we're really gelling, and we're helping each other now. It's not just him teaching me. We're both at a stage where we can both have really good competitive spars, and we both can take something away from it.
When you're out in Vegas and stuff and sparring, does it seem like it's all come really quick for you? It's just the, 1 minute you're in uni and the next minute you're sparring in Vegas with Joe Joyce. Is there?
Yeah, that was a surreal experience because I was still finishing my degree whilst I was in Las Vegas sparring, and after that, it was just one thing after the other. He said Sam Jones wanted me to sign with him, and then he said we can get you with Eddie Hearn, and then I was fighting on a debut on Sky Sports, and then I had the Chisora Parker fight, and now I'm on Fight Camp. It's just one thing after the other. But I think you can't really slow down. You just got to go with it and see what happens. I think that's the best way. If you keep looking back and thinking about what's gone, you just got to keep moving, and it's all going really quickly, but that's part of the fun of it. It's just seeing what comes next, and I'm really grateful to be in the position I am.
Yeah, you got to. It's exactly that. You got to fucking enjoy it. You never know when things can end. You know what I mean? So just enjoy exactly it when you're in the moment.
That's exactly my attitude to this boxing and this professional game. Just enjoy it while it's here, because I wouldn't have dreamed of doing it a year or two ago. And whatever happens can happen. And don't be too disheartened when you have lows, and don't be too high when you get good results. You just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. What's it like sparring with Joyce? Because a lot of people say that he's a bit slow and boring to watch, but everybody who's been in the ring with him says a different story.
Yeah, from the outside, it's quite easy to underestimate Joe Joyce and what he looks like and how he boxes. But trust me, he's not as slow. Well, you look at the way he shocked Carlos Takam with that little combination, that 1-2 left hook.
Yeah, it was surprising how fast that was.
That was nice and fast, but it's not that he's slow. He intercepts punches very well, and he reads a fight very well. So he might not be the quickest in the world, but he times his shots very well, and he's very heavy jab, very heavy-handed, like thudding shots. So, and you can hit him with everything you've got, and he'll just keep moving forward. We've seen that time and time again. So, even though if you're a massive puncher and you can do these sort of things and you think you can have a rest, but with Joe Joyce, there's no rest. You've always got to be on the move, or you've got to be trading, or you've got to be doing something to keep him occupied, because he's just relentless. He's the juggernaut.
Do you believe he could go on to beat Usyk or Joshua?
I think he could beat Usyk. I think Usyk's a fantastic boxer, Olympic gold medalist, obviously, but I haven't seen what I was hoping for at heavyweight against these guys like Chisora and Tyrone Spong and people like that. It's still there to be seen if he can do it with someone like Joe Joyce, who's like Chisora in some ways. That he's relentless. He'll come forward, but he's 5 inches taller, and he's a physical specimen of a man. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see if he gets a fight with Usyk and see how it goes. And
you got the amateurs that they when they fought in the amateurs, they build the fight up and everything. It could be a great fight.
Definitely. And Joe Joyce is a completely different. If you look at his body and how he is, he's different to how he was when he boxed Usyk back in the amateurs. It's over 5 rounds as well. It'd be a different story over 12 rounds, but Usyk is a great skilled boxer, and he could find a way through in a 12-round fight. But I'm just, even in an impartial way, I still think Joyce would be the favourite in that fight because of his sheer size and aggression and relentlessness.
Is Joyce one of the toughest people you've sparred with?
Yeah, Joyce was tough. Daniel Dubois, tough to spar with him, and Dave Allen. And I think all these sparring with Fury as well, Cash Ali. I've sparred some good names, Fabio Wardley. That's where my education has been. Instead of having a long amateur career, I've been educated in these spars. Sparring is only sparring, but you can still pick things up and gain experience. And it's completely different when you fight. But my sort of journey has been through sparring these top guys. That's where I've learned a lot of my trade. And I'd say Joe Joyce is the best out of that bunch in terms of sparring and the experience he's given me. But I've had some great names as well, all them names I've mentioned.
Have you heard Dave Allen spars a lot better than what he fights? Do you feel that?
I sparred Dave Allen before the Lucas Brown fight, and I was lucky enough for him to invite me in. He was with Darren Barker at the time, and he was sparring really well, and he was nice and relaxed, and he was in a good place, and it all paid off for his fight with Lucas Brown because he finished him quite well. I think he was brilliant in sparring, and he's brilliant in that fight, and I've got nothing but respect for Dave because he gave me an opportunity. He's the first professional I ever sparred, and he's a nice lad, and he's really helped me out, and he gives me some good advice here and there. So I'm only grateful for what he's done. But in sparring, he looked terrific, and he looked good in the fight as well. He's got so much talent, Dave. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah, fantastic. I know you got some things to crack on with now, John, so I won't take up too much of your time.
That's all right, John.
Before we finish, we've got a message for your fans.
I just want to say a big thank you to all the people that have been supporting me, especially all the sponsors. They all know who they are. They've supported me from the beginning, a lot of them, and I've got some great people behind me. And it's just it's brilliant to have the support, and I'll keep trying my best. And people who support me know that I'm just doing my best, and I'll see how far I can go.
Top man. Thank you very much, John, for joining us. You're an absolute gentleman. John.
No, thanks very much, mate. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. And best of luck on your fight on the 7th.
Thanks, John. I'll see you
Top
soon,
man.
mate.
See you again.
Cheers.
Ciao, buddy.
Thanks, John. Cheers, mate. I'll see you.